One of the most popular cases involving giants, or a giant, in recent history happened in 2002 in Afghanistan. And the reason that I have not covered this yet is because it seems just too amazing to be true. So I was waiting to see if any more information will come out about this encounter. But so far this story still remains the same, and I don't think that we will ever be able to prove it or disprove it. So I figured that it was about time to cover the story. Now this information comes from Marines, Special Forces operating in Afghanistan, according to author Steve Quayle and reporter and researcher L.A. Marzulli. According to these anonymous Marines and an Air Force officer, a group of Special Forces were looking for a lost patrol in a remote region in Afghanistan. And while they were walking along a goat path, they came across a very unusual pattern of rocks, tons of bones, and also broken pieces of communication equipment that most likely belonged to the US military. And while these soldiers were investigating this location, a man who was 12 feet tall and weighed 1,100 pounds came out from a cave and killed one of these soldiers with a very unique pike weapon. And the Marines, shocked beyond belief, opened fire, and they were able to kill this giant. Now these Marines could not believe what they had just witnessed, and they told their superiors about this giant, and sadly, their dead friend. So they were told by their commanding officer to hang tight, as a helicopter was now being dispatched to their location. Now it took some time and a lot of help, as this giant was extremely heavy, but it was eventually transported to a top secret military base in Ohio. And after this encounter, these eyewitnesses, these Marines, were told that they had to rewrite the report because the United States government did not want this information to come out. So it would seem that this giant was responsible for killing the patrol that went missing, as these Marines did stumble upon some of their equipment in front of the giant's cave. Now there are two things that I find very interesting about this alleged encounter. One is these soldiers did say that this giant had red hair, 6 fingers, and 6 toes, making me wonder if it also possessed 2 rows of teeth. And 2 is the pike weapon that it was carrying. In many of my previous videos, we have talked a lot about the epic battles between the giants and the Native Americans. And the Native Americans do say that these giants did possess a pike weapon. And when they struck with it, it would go through 3 braves. And L.A. Marzulli calls this weapon the Nephilim Lance. And he also claims that a piece of one of these lances might have just been recently dug up in Michigan. Now over the years, a couple of Marines and a pilot have come forward about this encounter. But due to the fact that they're all anonymous, I think it's best to remain highly skeptical. But if more Marines start to come forward in the future, and they reveal their identity, and they can prove that they were stationed in Afghanistan during this time period, then that would add a lot more credibility to this case. But for now, I guess all we can do is wonder and imagine. Another very interesting case that I just recently stumbled upon comes from the Amazon near Ecuador and Peru. A British anthropologist named Russell Dement always heard the locals within this region talk about an ancient race of very friendly pale-skinned giants. And in 2014, Russell was informed about a very tall skeleton that was just recently unearthed after a flood. And he was actually able to see and examine this huge female skeleton firsthand. And he stated that this woman lived about 600 years ago, and she was almost 8 feet tall, and it was perfectly healthy. There was nothing wrong with her. So after this discovery, Russell and his team started to dig in and around this location, and they found more skeletons. Some of them were almost 10 feet tall, and they too were perfectly healthy. Now this is an amazing discovery, and at the moment Russell and his team are being very cautious, not really giving out that much information until their work is done. Which is a very smart move considering that we all know from our previous videos about giants and how fast these skeletons can just magically disappear after they are discovered. So hopefully, Russell's work will be done soon, and if he is telling the truth, we might finally have proof that there was once an ancient race of giant humans, or a giant cousin of ours that once roamed the earth not that long ago. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.